The 2020 UEFA Super Cup, there's like two possibilities that come into my mind. Because first and foremost, the FA would probably want, if Leicester City collapsed, then the FA would want Tottenham to make into the top four so they can continue to pay off the stadium, so they can continue to make money and to pay off the debt of the new stadium. So Leicester City collapsing, who knows what happens? So that leaves two teams in Europa that would face off against Ronaldo, Dybala, and Juventus in the UEFA Super Cup. The Portuguese Cristiano Ronaldo is gonna head back home to Portugal, over at Porto, Portugal. It is Juventus that are gonna win the 45th edition of the UEFA Super Cup over at Portugal. Because in Gematria, the practice according letters and words into numbers, it's Portugal that equals 110 and 38. It is also Paulo Dybala that has Gematria of 110. He is truly becoming world class with Paulo Dybala. This is the 45th edition of the UEFA Super Cup. Dybala equals 45 and 18. It is also Ronaldo that has Gematria, or rather, it is, I should say, Cristiano that equals 45 in Gematria. So the question is it going to be United winning Europa, or is it going to be Europa League specialist Unai Emery in his 3 Europa League titles? Because Arsenal hired Unai Emery to win the Europa League. And this is exactly why he is the manager of Arsenal. He won 3 UEFA Europa Leagues over with Sevilla. One of his wins came against Jurgen Klopp in Liverpool. Arsenal are not look like they're going to sack Unai Emery anytime soon. They are on a project to qualify for the Champions League through the Europa League. And who knows if Arsenal are going to get rid of him and try to find a better manager. They're going to try to attract a better manager by gambling to qualify for the Champions League through that route. It really is something, isn't it? It's Porto that equals 80 and 34 Gematria. It is Juventus that equals 84 in reverse order, though. That is the significance of that. Porto, Portugal. It's Porto, Portugal that equals 194. I want to say it's Cristiano Ronaldo Sete that may equal. Cristiano Ronaldo Sete 7 equals 94 Gematria. I thought that equaled 194 for a second. So the Super Cup, the 45th Super Cup, has everything to do with Ronaldo and Dybala. Ronaldo's going to head back to Portugal. He's going to win another trophy over there. This is how you know the Champions League is scripted for Juventus. Ronaldo's first Champions League title came over at, what was it? Lisbon, Portugal, right? The Champions League is scripted, people. Now, going back to Arsenal win the Europa League over Manchester United. Arsenal last won a UEFA Cup in 1990. It was some UEFA trophy that they played in. You know, right? I should probably go to the team's honors. So bear with me. Honors, the trophies. UEFA, the UEFA Cup Winners' Cup. They won in 1994. They won in that particular year. They won against an Italian team, Parma. Gianluigi Buffon was a member of Parma before he went to Juventus. And Buffon was not on that team. This is how you know Buffon's going to win the Champions League, because he went to Parma before he went to Juventus. The fact that Arsenal beat Parma makes me think that Arsenal are going to win the Europa League, gambling wise. Try to gamble and miss out in the top four, try to bank on making it to the Europa. So what do we have going on with Arsenal here? Cristiano Ronaldo equals 79. It is Ronaldo that equals 79 and 34. It is Arsenal FC that equals 79 and 34. By the numbers, this would be a perfect trophy for Cristiano Ronaldo to win against Arsenal. And they're one of the teams that he dominates the most. So Arsenal are going to win that trophy, 1994. They're going to win their next UEFA trophy 26 years later. Now, this connects to the 2019-2020 Europa League. Arsenal are known as the Invincibles. They won 49 straight games one time. This is the 49th season of the Europa League. Keep in mind that the Europa League final is going to be played at Poland. Poland equals 26. Arsenal can win a European trophy 26 years later. It's really a tribute to what Arsene Wenger couldn't do. Arsene Wenger couldn't win the big one. And keep in mind that this is the Queen's favorite team. Queen equals 62 and 26 also. Arsenal winning the Europa League 26 years later makes sense. And the reason why Arsenal lost the final last year, Arsenal is 25, but it is Poland, and it is the former manager, Wenger, that equals 26. So it's looking like Unai Emery, the gambler, is going to gamble some more, and that Arsenal are going to be stuck with him for quite some time. It's Emery, it's Porto that equals 30. Unai Emery's associations with Portuguese football, does he have any? Not much, only with La Liga. 9, 10, 18, 20, birthday numerology of 23. 1994 is a 23 year. 917111 and 3 adds up to 23. Juventus go 23 years without winning the Champions League before this year, the 24th year since 1996. Once again with the banker manager Mauricio Sarri. It brings me to the point. Mauricio Sarri defeated Arsenal in the Europa League. 2019 Europa League final. While with Chelsea. That's another thing too. Arsenal are going to win the Europa 26 years later. And they lost to Chelsea. But the European drought is going to come 26 years later. It's Mauricio Sarri that defeated Arsenal. Sarri's going to beat Arsenal again. Sarri, Arsenal Football Club, equals 65. Wojciech Szczęsny, goalkeeper of Arsenal, a goalkeeper of Juventus. Wojciech Szczęsny, he's Polish. Szczęsny is Polish. Arsenal would need to play against Juventus in the Super Cup with a win in the final over at, you guessed it, Poland. Wojciech Szczęsny, the former Arsenal keeper with 132 appearances before he went on loan to Roma, before he went to Juventus. This has to do with the gematria of Juventus equaling 132. I have the winners of the Europa in the Champions League completely determined for this year. Are Arsenal going to renew Emery's contract? Let's see what happens. But they're gambling on Europa.